Well, folks, it is that time of year. That's right, time to clean it all up. Hey there, everyone. It's Barry's Best Honey. I'm Mike and I do bees. Welcome back to Southeast Louisiana. Today is, one of those days you just got to do chores. It's August 18th and I got to clean up all my honey equipment. Honey processing equipment? Yeah, that's right. Honey processing equipment. I cleaned it once at the end because I continually work through it. And I didn't expect this last extraction to be quite as big as it was, but it was. It was enough where I ran my clarifier again. It worked out really well. Let's go in here. Honey's in the buckets, folks. I already cleaned my pump. So this is the Hilco pump. Take this off, pull it apart. It's like an impeller. Clean it out, clean all the fittings up. It's ready to go, got the hoses cleaned out. So this pump is ready for storage. I got the baffles on the clarifying tank cleaned. I'm gonna go ahead and wash this thing out and show you my setup. And I'm not gonna show you washing all my equipment. I mean, because, you know, it's pretty easy. But what I'll show you is how my stuff comes apart. Obviously the baffles come out of this. I unhooked the hose and the barb. And I gotta drain the water out of this too. I drained 2 gallons of water so I could get it up here without spilling any out of the vent hole, but I gotta drain the water. I will put the gate back on here just like this gate up top. I took the barb off, I'll put the gate on so I can show you how I drain it and how I maintain the water since there's no drains in the floor here. And I'll take the extractor apart. Maybe I'll just show you how I take my stuff apart. And there's nothing really to take apart on the Maxent uncapping tank. It's pretty simple. It's just got to be cleaned out. But it's still full of wax. So I am going to start wax rendering here pretty soon. We got a whole corner full of wax over there. Not those buckets, but where that black tin drum is, or whatever it is, that black drum. All that is, all that back there is wax. So we got to get that rendered here pretty soon. That's the next thing we're going to be doing. But I'll take what's left in here. I'm going to drain that little bit of honey out. I don't want to waste any honey. Bees work so hard to get it. I'm sure they're not going to waste it. So I'll put that in a strainer that I have right there. That's just my residual honey that's left over, and that'll go right in my bottler. I'm going to take this wax, and this wax is going to get put into that bucket right there. But I don't know if I'm going to do it all tonight, but you get the idea. The cleanup is beginning. Now, again, I won't show you how to do that. That's self-explanatory. But I'll show you my little hose setup, how I clean it, how I work in here. But let me get the water drained out of this, and then we'll wash that up. I'll show you how I take care of the wastewater, and then we'll take apart the extractor. I'll show you how easy that comes apart and what I do with that. I should have videoed the pump. I took it apart the night I was done with it and got it cleaned. But it's real simple. 2 Allen bolts, take this plate, and then the whole pump will slide off. It's an impeller pump, so I washed, and these come off with these sanitary fittings. Pretty simple thumb wheels, or thumb knobs. Take thumb knobs off, pop them loose, pull the gaskets out, wash everything down. Wipe down my motor frame, gearbox frame, clean it all up, and we store it. But this eventually will get cleaned after harvest and then started right back up into moving honey. I'll clean it every so often, but I'll be running crystallized honey through it, slurry honey out of drums eventually. But for this year, it's going to get stored because we're not doing drums. The honey tank is close to 4,000 pounds. It was a wonderful harvest. After having such a dry privet in spring, we ended up having a really good late spring and early summer, and really, really worked out. So happy about that. We'll be using my tankless water heater. I'll turn it on so you can see it pops on. Probably jack that heat up a little bit. Don't have to use Dawn really when you're using hot water with all this honey, because honey's an antiseptic. It's got antiseptic properties, but I will still use hot water, and I'll use Dawn, and I'll clean everything really nice and clean. And I've got this year finally a a nozzle that's made for hot water instead of the metal one I had that burned my hand. So we'll just pull this hose off, and I'm gonna turn the heat up and let me get washing. David from the Purpose Meeting gave me this shirt. How you like it? Fire Tower Bees, really cool. He does bees too, see? Fire Tower honeybees, we do bees. I guess we all do bees. All right, that's gonna take a minute or two, but anyway, I need to get a fitting for this so I can just run the hose, and I put it back in my jugs because the water's only been in there, I don't know, not a whole lot of hours, so it can be used in my bottler and everywhere else because this is all distilled water. So I'm gonna save it back in the jugs. Bottler, it evaporates eventually, and then whatever's left in bulk I'll use for next year, you know, if everything goes well and we're harvesting honey next year. Throw a little tilt on it, get that water really coming out. That thing holds, I want to say, close to 7 gallons. It holds a lot of water. And I don't know how much the heating really helps a lot. It helps when you are done for the afternoon and you're coming back the next day. It really helps then. But when it's actually just flowing through it, I'm not sure. I know it probably helps on the bottom because the bottom is warm and it does help everything slide through on the bottom. But as far as heating the whole tank, it takes a whole evening to really do that. So I keep it up pretty high when the honey is running through it, and then overnight I turn it down to about 85 to 90. Makes everything float to the top, and then for the first 10 or 15 gallons, it's just clear coming out of that thing. Well, I don't think I had the camera recording. Basically, I took this hot water and I ran it down the sides 3 or 4 rounds around here and let the hot water break loose the wax in honey. Once it breaks that honey down, it runs, all that just begins to fall off the sides. And then after that good hot water, which I wasn't recording, I take some Dawn, I get it on my rag and I scrub it down. But now I'm at the point where I want to drain it and then scrub it again. Not scrub it, just wipe it down really good with some hot water and soap. So how do I do that without a floor drain? Well, it's pretty simple. I've got this old bucket. This bucket I use, a little utility bucket. And I just drain the water out with the valve. And I go out in the woods and I dump it. And you think there's a lot of water in there. It's like 3 inches of water. You think it's a lot. It's going to really overflow. But really, that's about a bucket. May not even fill a whole bucket. I don't know. What I'll do is I'll do another good wipe down. Then I'll drain it in the bucket, dump it out. And then what I'll do is I'll leave the valve open and I'll just do a good rinse and flush everything out. So I just clean all the equipment in the honey house like that. Just do one item at a time. I'll do the extractor next. This is in the way, so I got to get it done first. Then I'll do the extractor because it's really the next more intricate, harder thing to do. And then I'll do that Maxent uncapping tank because it's simple. So I'll take that basket outside, rinse it down and soap it up real good and clean all the wax out. Bring it back in to dry. And then I'll do the tank inside just like I'm doing this tank. And it's really easy to do. And then I do all the outsides of everything last. Everything is dry, I'll come in tomorrow and I'll wipe down all my pretty stainless steel with a soapy rag and then dry it down with a dry rag and it shines it up real nice. Or even some Windex. And I like to shine it all up, make everything look nice and clean. It looks good when it's all clean. I like a nice, neat storage area once I get everything kind of put together. It's not very neat right now. It's like strung out everywhere. So I definitely used a scrub brush to get down in these grooves where these baffles sit, and that worked great. It got the wax loosened up, any honey out of there. Because I don't want any honey, residual honey, and dripping out of those, because what'll happen is we'll wind up getting some ants. This thing's going in the loft. Sometimes they can have access to that loft. So I'm gonna rinse this whole thing down. I've got the gate valve open under a bucket, and now I've scrubbed it all up and got all the stuff clean. I'll take my rag out of here, and what I'll do is I'll start rinsing it out to get all the soap out. Then I'll wipe it down real good with a clean wet rag only. It'll be done. We'll move on to the extractor, which I've already gotten spray all over. All right. And what I'll do is I will take a towel and dry it out completely. So let's let it sit. So obviously we're gonna get water on the floor. That is a given. I mean, I don't go without getting any water on the floor, but I do have towels for this part of it. I have towels to get the floor as well, because I've already had one that I've been using on the floor. I don't want to use it in my tank. And here's my one for the floor. Just throw this down here. I usually have it down ahead of time, but since I had the cardboard, I figured I don't need it, but actually I do need it. So, but I usually have it around. So basically half a bucket. I use a bucket and a half to clean this. I'm gonna throw these hoses in here for now because I'm not gonna be using the pump, but the baffles will go in there. I do have one spare baffle. So it's all clean, dry, and ready to go. Man, this thing did so well for me. Small scale, of course, but wow, for small scale, for me, this thing did great. So this and the pump really helped me out. So I'm gonna throw this up on there for now, and we're gonna work on that there extractor. So if I've showed you this once, I've showed you this 1,000 times, but then again, there might be some new viewers. The Hilco, the new ones, this is the 2nd generation, which was the Ultra Max. Now they're just all Max. You had Ultra and Mini, and the Ultra, I think was the first Ultra, was this 18. Maybe there was a smaller one, I don't know. But nonetheless, it's not an Ultra no more. And they have thumb knobs now. And they have a different box. So you just a Phillips head, crescent wrench. Take this off. This one bolt on this side. One on the other. And here's what's nice about this. Like on my Max, and I got to take like 4 different bolts out. Small screws and bolts to get everything out. So anyway, take this off. The only thing I will say about this is it's pretty stout, heavy-wise. Again, the new ones are a little different. But what I like about this, it's heavy and all, but it just lifts right out. There it is, it's done. Now, what I did forget to tell you was, I also washed the reel outside. I got a little food grade grease there, food grade grease in the bottom. It's got a grease fitting on the bottom to re-grease it. And what I do, this just obviously just pulls right out. I take this out, rinse it off with a hose, get that water, loosening up all that wax and honey on there, and it's done. It's cleaned up. Then I do the same with this, dump it in a bucket. And this is actually very easy to clean because it's easy to keep the water contained. Does great. So I'm gonna wash this next, but I believe I'm gonna wash it tomorrow because you know what? I had a whole day of running around, and I went to see Mr. Ed. I did vaporization on all my colonies, even the packages. Started them over on another regimen, even though I did them about a month and a half ago. Started them over and did them. So I did all 60 plus colonies today, and then had to bottle some honey and do all that stuff. So I'm gonna take it easy for the rest of the evening, and I'll come do this tomorrow. What a mess this place is. I got to get it cleaned up soon. We got to get wax rendered. We need to get buckets freed up. We need to get equipment put away. My goodness. We'll never be ready for queen rearing, ever, if we don't get this cleaned up. Yep, next day. Next day. I just wet this and wet this and wet this until the wax breaks free, meaning the honey has been dissolved enough. And then I gotta run my hand in a rag around the bottom, get that, there's like a thin coat of honey down around the edges, right where it drains. Everything, of course, gathered where the low point is, which is the drain itself. And it's kind of crystallized a little bit, but get all that loosened up, and then we drain it, dump the bucket, wash it, and we're done. I took the reel outside already and used the hose outside. Clean this thing up. Rinse and repeat, right? That's all I'm doing. So you can see it's pretty clean at this point. Everything is broken loose. Now then, as I'm washing out here, I know a lot of folks are probably like, hey, why don't you just feed it back to the bees? Let the bees clean your equipment. And I've done that. But honestly, and there's nothing wrong with that. You know me, it's me how I do and you do and we all do, but I just don't like to do it at this time of the year. I got like, on this property, I got probably about 35 to 45 hives, something like that. I don't need them all in a huge frenzy. In my yards away from their own colonies and from weak ones and from my queen colonies and all that. I just don't need that going on. And I still got to get in there and rinse them all out and clean it. So, I mean, does it really matter? I guess, yeah, the bees would get their food back, but I don't leave that much in my equipment. I use a spatula, and I clean my stuff out and get it in the buckets. I want every drop that they're allowing me to have, I want to have, and so that's kind of why that's the way it is. I got the reel all cleaned up and rinsed, but now I'll just run a rag over it real quick. Ooh, starting to break a sweat. And see, the bees, they show up, they're looking for some free food, but it's like, hey, I give them all the wet supers. And look, some of those supers still had a good amount of nectar because I didn't extract everything if they were partial, so they got a good amount. They got their fair share back. Not to mention, I don't really feel like hauling all that equipment out the door and then back in the door. I just don't. But that's just me. I'll see nothing wrong with it. Plenty of people do it. I have no issue with that. I just don't do it. So there you go. So I rinse all this off real good, get it all clean, and we'll get it rinsed off, let it dry, put it back together. So I'll rinse it, carry it inside on the cardboard, let it dry off. Oh, a love bug. And I just run this around it, kind of break all the honey off. Again, the Dawn tends to really knock it loosens the wax up really good. Any residual wax left on it. But this is clean enough. Get this dried up a little bit on here. Alrighty. Do a little rinser down. Haul it straight back inside. Finish cleaning the equipment. And that, my friends, is how I do. That's really all the outside washing I do. Well, folks, and just like that, we're cleaned up. I didn't take it too long. Y'all seen me wash stuff. Anyway, just want to show you, I do wash my equipment. I do clean it up for the year. We got the pump all settled in. I wrap these sanitary fittings because I put them on and I wrapped them with saran wrap tape. Just keep any dust, dirt, or anything out because I won't need that now, but next year at this time, I won't be wrapping it up. I'll clean it and hopefully we'll be using it to work drums. I already stacked it, so obviously the inside of that is spick and span, clean as a whistle. I've got the outside all shined up and cleaned up, any residue off the tank. Same with the clarifying tank, that's all cleaned up. The extractor is all clean, shiny and pretty, and no residue. So we are set until next year. Got the ball bearing out, greased it up real good, cleaned all the old grease out. It's ready to go. Now we start stacking buckets up there as we sell honey. We gotta get some room in here. And that's why I say, if I could take, like that whole stack is like 2.5 drums. If I could take them up against the wall, man, that's so much space saved. So that's kind of the drum idea. But anyway, got a little bit of honey left to pour. I'm gonna pour in my bottler, make sure my bottler's warmed up. And we're gonna get this contraption going. This is my creamer. Looking forward to getting a batch of cinnamon going now that we have room. It's time to settle in for fall. Make sure the bees get through summer and have plenty of food, which they do. Nobody was late whatsoever. And for whatever reason, folks, I ended that video right there at that. Don't know what happened. Don't know why I didn't shoot an outro, as they call it. But nonetheless, there you go. Quick, down and dirty, but actually quick, down and clean now. We have got the equipment cleaned up for the season. Don't do any fall honey, so not sweating needing it any fall honey. Goes back to the bees. If there is a little bit, I'll just break out my little extractor and run it, uncap it in a bucket, you know. I won't get it all messed up for a super or two, but I rarely ever pull any honey in the fall. So, all right, folks, well, I'm gonna go ahead and let y'all go. I appreciate you watching. Hope you enjoyed this video. I know it's just a little mundane, but it's what we're doing this time of year. And remember, this is a vlog, not a how-to video. So it's Barry's Best Honey. I'm Mike, and I do bees. Y'all have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful week, and may God bless you. We'll see y'all later.